And so we were looking for her for a second, and I was like, well, I'm going to run over and get the side-by-side, which was quite a ways away. And just at that point in time, we could see her legs underneath the brush. And so she's going down her trail, and I kind of froze for a second, because it was far enough away that I knew that I couldn't make it side-by-side, and we froze. We watched her, and we were yelling and putting up just a banshee cry, and she just kept coming. And then she got out where she could see us, and she stood up on her hind legs, and then she dropped down and turned around and checked her cub, and I thought, well, here's the part where she takes off. She didn't do that. She started kind of trotting towards us, and at this point, she's about 70 yards away. And she kind of comes inside that circle of 30 yards and lays her ears back and just comes as fast as she could. And then we all had our pistols out and shot her. And that was just how that all kind of transpired.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thankfully you were armed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we were armed and
Because she was coming.
No, she was committed to the coming. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. She was coming for sure. She wasn't really coming at me. She was coming at my brother-in-law, so it was kind of a broadside to me. But she was completely committed to it. When we shot her a couple times, she stopped, and was making the decision here. And we froze, and then she walked, kind of quietly walked away, looking out at us out of the corner of her eye. And it all
And how
worked
far
out.
from downtown?
Well, from right here, I don't think it would be 2 miles from, I don't know, getting some people to know here, probably about 2 miles from right where we stand,
Yeah.
just up the creek here. So yeah, that's how it all went.
Thanks for sharing that story. And I know you're all impacted. I remember last time we had Secretary Bernhardt here in town, and we went out and we found a sow and 2 cubs just in a cut wheat field a mile west of town. After our little meeting here in Choteau, a rancher, maybe you're here, came out and said, I got to show you something in the back of my truck. Put the tailgate down. There was a green hide of a horse that a grizzly bear had killed in his yard. It was his son's horse, not too far out of town. There was a young woman there who came up. She stuck her finger in Secretary Bernhardt's chest and said, I was on the back porch of my house in Choteau, and I had my infant child, the baby was crying, and that essentially was a predator call to the bear. The bear came to the cry of the baby, and she had to get back in the house and get the door locked, and the bear came up on the back porch. So this is what these folks in this community are living with. We should be celebrating the work that's been done by the entire community. This bear was listed for good reason. They have recovered. It's time for them to be delisted. And that's why we petitioned the U.S. Wildlife Service back early in the last administration. And we really didn't get any feedback for a long time. As you know, in the 11th hour of the prior administration, the petition was denied. So now we're faced with a fully recovered population, but we've got to start all over. So we would just, this community, I'm sure they could tell us many stories, more stories than I'm telling here. We need your help to get this bear delisted. We've been successful in managing the delisted wolf population. We manage the elk, we manage the antelope, we manage the sheep, we manage all the other wildlife. We can manage the bears in a way that keeps the community safe and preserves the population.
And I think we all agree, we love seeing bears on the landscape. I mean, we're just so excited. We just saw a bear outside of Augusta. Thrilling, right? We don't want that to go away. It's just that we have reached a population density that is just not sustainable. And honestly, I mean, our grizzly bear dashboard shows 61 conflicts by midsummer. I mean, there's a lot of human conflicts with grizzly bears. And we just need to be able to manage. We don't want them to go away. We're just celebrating that they're recovered, appreciating all the efforts everybody has made. But we're just asking, just please don't move the goalpost on us again. Okay? We stayed in this lane, we colored in the lines, we did all the things right. Just let us have this.
And there was a concern raised by the U.S. Wildlife Service in the prior administration that there wasn't enough genetic diversity. So we used a little Montana ingenuity, and we trapped 2 bears and trucked them down to Yellowstone Park. And we populated their gene pool. And we'd be happy to continue to do work like that to make sure the population is robust and we deal with the concerns that the biologists may have. But the population has hit its target. It's time to be touched. So, love to hear from you folks. Yeah.
Josh, just the experience from base in Helena. Tyler and I are, but we also have a place in the central part of the state. Everyone breaks. And know all the neighbors for miles around. Bears are established out there. Up in Creek, Judith River, up in the northern moccasins. Everybody's got their pictures of them. And you talk to them, kind of put stories together. They estimate there's at least a dozen just in that area. Different reasons. And so my philosophy is they're the number one predator over us. We can change that, delist them, hunt them, and educate them. If we'll save them with bears, then we get killed by conflicts. They'll learn that we're the number one predator. We run into, and a little story I like to tell is, I don't know if somebody might remember, a few years ago, a couple of little Indian boys up in Browning caught a boar out on the flats, chasing with pickup videoing it. And I tell you what, it was pretty funny. But, they got in trouble because they were harassing the bear. But what did you think that bear did the next time he heard a pickup? He left. He's not going to get run again. So if we can get them delisted, like Dave said, we're overpopulated. We've met the goal and then exceeded it. So, I'm on the Farm Bureau board, and I brought policy that our state Farm Bureau has in place and our American Farm Bureau. Montana, we have 40,000 members, just under 20,000. Nationally, we have a few million. We're a big organization, so I brought that supports the delisting. I'll give you a copy. I just copy and paste put it together. I'll
John,
give that to you.
I think the folks would like.
Yeah,
I'm
please.
not putting you on the spot.
Welcome to the new job.
A couple of things to unpack there from what the good governor has said. First of all, I'm with the federal government, but I haven't always been with the federal government. In fact, I'm from Wyoming. I consider us neighbors.
Yeah.
I wasn't with the government. Our new director that was sworn in on Monday, I've had a very long-standing professional and personal relationship with him. I come from a mule deer conservation background. And when he was nominated for this, he asked me if I would come to DC with him so we could make the priorities that we have seen as sportsmen and sportswomen in Wyoming, if we can get them across the finish line. And at first I was very hesitant because I had no interest in leaving the life I have in Wyoming to live in DC. But I also believe in service. My father was killed in the line of duty 10 days after he was elected sheriff in Colorado. And I know the freedoms that we have come with sacrifice. And I personally know that better than anyone. And I just kept asking myself, looking at my children, our first granddaughter was born in March, and I thought, I can continue to point out the problems, or I can get in the arena and try to be a part of it. And that's why I've accepted this position. I was sworn in on May 1st. But I can tell you our highest priority is this issue right here. And that's why I took this job. Beyond that, our hunting heritage, I believe,